Hey guys, how's it going? It's Ed here. We are doing a battle video. Me and Hollow, who is somebody in my server, also a streamer slash YouTuber. I'll put stuff to their things and whatnot in the description. We did a little playtest. They were playing Fire Nature Dinosaur Beatdown, so Dino Beatdown, and I was playing a deck I like to call uh, Holy Crush, which is basically it's light dark and it uses its main stuff that it uses is succubus and angels, and cupids, but mostly those are the boss things that I really want to play around with. So yeah, so I believe right now we're just doing our mulligans. We're trying to shuffle what we don't need back into our decks. There has been some updates to the rules. I need to make, or I keep forgetting to make a rule. Do you guys care, like the way it looks? Because I kind of want to do it on Untap because my computer cannot handle OBS and TTS being on at the same time, and it starts lagging and freaking out. But yeah, uh, I'll just use Untap if that's the case. But yeah, if it doesn't want to go anywhere, if it doesn't want to do anything. But yeah, one of the changes to the game is that now you start with a token in your soul gauge that is considered neutral, and that token can be exhausted for resource. So yeah, now you start with on your first turn you start with two resources instead of one. So it seems that I am going first. I decide to put down Adri into the soul gauge, and it goes in exhausted because it's a double color card. And then I pass the turn to Hollow. Now it probably doesn't show here because my hand. I kind of want to keep the stuff that's in my hand, but pretty much the game does go by faster in terms of what you can do in the game, like per turn. Like there's a lot more you can do because things just happen earlier than they usually would. So now it's my turn. I draw another Adri. I go to put Alice into the soul gauge, and I exhaust it to summon Spider Affluent Eyeball. I believe from there I summon my Cupid. I don't remember, but pretty much what Spider Affluent Eyeball is, what it does is when you summon it, you can search your deck for a 8 Venoms card from your deck that isn't Spider Affluent Eyeball. But I don't have another one. I only run Spider Affluent Eyeball. But I'll use it for its second ability, which is basically you sack one of your own souls so that you can draw, which is pretty. It comes in handy. Sometimes you would just sack itself because you want to keep what's on your board, but just that right there is enough. I'm pretty sure you could do some crazy stuff with like feeding Michael's soul with it or chain with it. I've been playing. I've been looking at a lot of Vanguard lately, so I'd be calling the chain the soul. So Hollow puts down Iron Slime. It seems like they don't really have any good early game stuff going on right now. Um, so it seems like I'm the main person just doing stuff. But yeah, it's whatever. So I seem to be exhausting 3 to summon out Black Mage Puppet, and I guess I'm gonna start using Fluent Eyeball. So basically, what that'll do is I'll sack the Black Mage Puppet so I can draw a card, but that actually triggers Black Mage Puppet's ability, which, when destroyed, forces my opponent to discard a card. So that's pretty cool. It seems like I keep drawing into these big old people. But yeah, the sort of like my deck is sort of like I guess like kind of like a control deck. Um, Forces my opponent to remove a lot of their own stuff, but it wants to generate a lot of soul. Adri's kind of like, hey, sack one of your things, either a spell or a soul, and your opponent has to do it too. And if they can't sack what you sacked, then then she gets plus 100 power and one hit instead of a turn. Right now, I just play Roots of Labor, which basically lets you look at the top 2, add one of the cards to a chain, and then the other one to your hand. But you can only activate one per turn, because it'd be crazy if otherwise. You can really like go crazy with like how much chain you can get. This sucks though because I picked up two. Like, that really sucks. But yeah, it's kind of stuck behind a little thing on untap, so I have to use that little thing. I hate using this thing on untap, the little. Yeah, but and I'm swinging for 1 damage. It seems that Hollow is reducing with Mama Cluck, which is pretty cool because Mama Cluck, when reducing with it, search your deck for another copy of it and then add it to your soul gauge. So he's ramping, she's ramping up. I think I've been saying he this whole time. I'm very sorry, Hollow. Hollow Go is she. Okay. Um, but yeah, no, and then I have Alice, which I might change the deck to focus more on her because she's a level 7 2-hitter with 600 power, but when summoned, she basically targets a soul and then absorb its whole entire chain. So it steals a chain, not from a soul, but a card specifically. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a soul or a spell. And that's actually really good. And also you can spend one chain. I keep saying soul. You can spend one chain so that you can basically target a card, and it's a once per turn ability, so it's not broken. Target a card and completely negate all of its abilities until the end of your opponent's next turn. I don't remember, but it's something like that. I'll probably put it up on the screen so you can see it. I don't know if I remember to. I don't know. So Hollow brought out an Egg of Forgotten Apex, and they're looking to play Sapling of Yggdrasil. Now, if I remember correctly, she did not have any Okakin or Floral Dragons in her deck. She thought she did, but she didn't. So right here, we kind of... Well, I just kind of tell her, hey, it's okay. You can use that for your mana or reducing or something like that. Like, because she's like, oh, I screwed up. You know, let me put it in the graveyard. Like, no, fam, put it in your hand. Use that to like reduce or for your gauge or something. But yeah. So right here, she tries to play another Egg of Forgotten Apex, but she doesn't realize that she thought that the token gave of any element, and no, that's not the case. It's considered neutral, so she couldn't. So then from there, she passes her turn, and it's back to me. Okay, I drew an Ayane. And I play another... God, another Fruit of Labor. Now, this is weird because like what I drew was not like the best. I ended up getting a Soul Trigger, and ended up getting an Ayane. Lux Gummy is there's a series of triggers called gummies, that are, and they're basically soul triggers with abilities. And so when revealed as a soul trigger, you can do different things. The Lux Gummy helps you destroy a spell you control, or in general, I'm not sure. I have to look at it. I've kind of been on a break from making the game, so there's a lot of cards where I have to go back and yeah. But I summoned the Lux Gummy, and I use my spider to sack it so I can draw a card, which got me Luminescence. Luminescence is pretty cool. Luminescence is basically you pay 1 to destroy it, and then when you do that, tap one of your creatures, or I'm sorry, exhaust one of your creatures to exhaust one of your opponent's creatures, and it comes in handy. I tried to attack, but Hollow gets a soul trigger, a Foo Flame. Fling. And I pass my turn. Now, one thing with Oversoul now is that because of the token, There's a lot of things that you can do like a turn early that you couldn't from like before. But now there's also the change of like you have one extra damage you have to do. So instead of 7, it's 8. And the games tend to be a little longer, but in terms of card design, that actually does a lot for me, so I could do so much. There are cards in the game that are being designed. There's one in set 2, and I'm already working on set 3, where it basically kind of deals burn damage, but also there are other things that I can do, which I don't want to spoil, but I think the game can get anime as all hell, and not in a very toxic way, but I think in a very fun way. It's kind of combo-y. Now, what was that card called? Mecha Mega Rex is a really good card for dinosaurs. Before this sort of like rule change with the extra token, it didn't really do anything, but now you can do stuff a turn early or you have more mana to work with. Um, that card actually does a lot for that deck, and it's really disgusting and annoying because it helps you get out your boss monster, which is Etquilagma or the vanilla dinosaur vanilla, a lot faster. And it's just, oh my god. It's so annoying. But yeah, it's my turn. I draw a Carlisle Reaper. I don't really need Carlisle Reaper because I don't meet the threshold cost for it. So and like I really like, it'd be a waste to summon Ayane because Ayane helps me heal and I don't have any damage. So I want to save to that, but I don't want to like attack or destroy any of my own stuff. So I just pass my turn to Hollow. Hollow forgets to refresh her Apex, and Apex is getting changed in this game. It was just, hey, if it leaves the battlefield, and like absorbing technically counts as leaving, then you get to search your deck for a dinosaur. But that was a bit crazy, so what we did was, it's basically the same thing. The only difference is that it cannot attack, so you can't really deal damage with it, and it just sits there on the field. And actually, I don't know why it makes a difference. it does for some reason. So Hollow played, I believe that's Nature's Gift, and uses it to grab a card. I don't remember what card it was. I didn't see, but they did put get an Etquilagma into their chain with it. I mean, into their Soul Gauge with it. Now they're playing Avocado Harmony, which is going to let them play the top card of their deck and then add a card from their Soul Gauge to the hand, or they can choose to add that card to a chain. So they choose to add the Etquilagma. One thing with the dinosaurs is that like before they were like very like resource heavy, like you had to manage everything so that when you got Etquilagma out, you would like be solid, like it wouldn't hurt you. So like your end goal is to get Etquilagma out, hopefully multiple Etquilagma. But if you got Etquilagma out and you still had stuff left and you could do more, you played it right. If you got Etquilagma out and you barely had have anything in your hand to do anything, then you did really badly. It's very interesting because Etquilagma is basically a big old boy with rush, and if it has chain and it shatters an opponent's soul, which is basically destroying a soul by battle, but the card itself has to survive. If it does that, then you can destroy something your opponent controls to basically basically destroy something that's weaker than what it destroyed. What did you do? Oh, okay, so there was a misplay here. So I think Hollow thought that with Mega Rex's ability, they could absorb the they could absorb the egg from the field, but no, the egg Mega Rex says that you have to absorb from hand, so that you could do its different abilities. And yeah, then they use Mega Rex's ability to basically summon Hyper Quill Scavenger for like 2 less. And that's scary because in this game, the vanillas are the ones that tend to mess you up if your opponent runs them. Because, like, they have no ability, but their power is a lot higher than the rest of them because they have no ability. So, like, they're really, really useful. Like, it may feel broken sometimes, but then there's other cards that can just get rid of them. But if you're not prepared for it, then that's on you. So I draw and I get a Spellblight Worm. Okay. Now there are cards to get rid of that thing. I just can't seem to have it. Like I have Carolina Reaper, but Carolina Reaper is level 8 and I'm at 5 cards in Soul Gauge, and I'm kind of struggling right now. I don't know what to do here because I can't attack. I can't like do what I wanted to do previously, which was basically I was hoping to get more stuff, at least my other succubus, because Alice is a succubus, and then there's a Darkwing Temptress, and being able to get her out to just do stuff, and if my opponent messed up, or just give it chain so that I could start picking off all of Hollow's weaker stuff, but I couldn't. So I summoned the Ione, and I heal 2, or I heal 1. I take 2 from the damage zone and then put the top card of my deck into the damage zone face down. So yeah, but like I keep losing my Adries, which is not a good thing. Because right now, if I were able to summon Adri is able to on summon absorb up to 2 souls or spells. And in this case, I have 2 souls with 2 chains, so in total, it would have 6 chain, which would last me for a while. This is very, very disgusting, and I'm kind of like in a bad position, mainly because of that big old dinosaur in the center. They play a Avocado Harmony, so they'll play the top card of their deck, which is a Mega Rex, put it into the Soul Gauge, and then they can choose to add to a chain or add it to hand, a card from their Soul Gauge. One thing I noticed too is that there are a lot of things I was worried about when designing the game. I did not see what they put into their hand, but like, there's a lot of things that I wanted to do with the game that I was really scared of, but like now I'm realizing, like now I have like a sort of like realization where I want the game to go. And like there's a reason why the game is the way that it is. At least in some specific parts, regardless of what some people may think is weird or weird to them, there's a reason for it. And I guess I kind of lost that, but now I'm kind of like, okay, so I kind of want the game to kind of get like this. By the way, they just swung at me with a 2-hitter, and I just lost 2 cards that I could have used, that I could have really used. I'm taking another card that could have helped me. I'm probably gonna have to sack the spider the next turn. Oh, I have a puppet, so I couldn't force my opponent to discard. All depends, really. Sadly, I have to get rid of the Carolina Reaper. I was never going to play it anyways. It's too high cost to be in my hand. But yeah, but no, I'm realizing there's a lot of things that I want to do that I thought I couldn't do that are like, you know what, it can work. I'd have to be careful, but it can work. Like there's the card that basically it's based around Cupids. It's another archangel. Yeah, there's a new archangel that isn't Michael. And he basically, when shattering an opponent's soul, it can basically deal 1 damage to the opponent with trigger checks applied for every 2 Cupid you control. So if you can spam the board with Cupids and start killing your opponent's stuff with it, I think it might be really good with nature, because nature is really good at that kind of stuff, forcing souls to fight. You could do a lot of damage without really having to. Yeah, you can be very aggressive with it. Kiro tried to playtest with it and try to make a control deck, I guess. But like when they were playing it, I was like, nah, fam, this is more of a aggro deck. Like you'd be more aggressive with it, I feel. So I'm able to get the Alice out, and yeah, I really needed this Alice. So I steal the chain from Mech Megarex. Uh, oh yeah, so it's until the end of my opponent's next turn. So I absorb the chain from Mech Megarex, and I believe I use it to negate its abilities until the next turn. Until like, yeah. So they wouldn't be able to really use it all that much. But I think Hollow, if I'm not mistaken, Hollow kind of had like more that they could do, so that didn't really affect them. It was really annoying. One thing with Mech Megarex is that if you have multiple of them on the board, like if you have 2 of them and they have like 2 chain each, you release 2, like that's gonna be like if you have 2 of them, that's gonna be like reduce 4 from the cost. So in reality, like if you play really well and you get a whole bunch of them on the board and you're just doing stuff, that Ezquilagma can become a 4 cost, and that's kind of scary. So they play a hunting, Nature's Gift, and they get Foo Flame onto the board. I don't know what I was doing with my mouse. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah. Yep, they got another. That's not good for me. That's actually very bad, very horrifying. That's very atrocious, I guess. I don't know. So I get into another Spell Blight. I'm not really getting into the things that I want because I have removal, and with the Spell Blight, if I have that removal there, along with like the Adrian in my hand, then I'd be kind of good at the moment, but I can't really do much. There is a game 2, and in game 2, the game is I think the game's a little bit more close because I decide to change up my strategy a little. But like it gets really scary. like really scary. So I believe, yeah, so I'm playing down Cupid, Shiba Cushion, or Cupid Cushion, I don't remember the name, which basically looks at the top 5, and then you add like one of those cards to a storybook's chain, and Shiba Cupid or Cushion basically is, oh, you add 2. Okay, I see now. And you basically yeah, you add it to a storybook, and it's a storybook itself, which basically helps to fuel Adri without using too many other cards. There's a lot of chain building going on, and like that's not what I need at the moment. I need removal, and my removal is like not coming, and I am very sad. Sad boy hours. Let's go. Now it's my opponent's turn. They have 7 in Soul Gauge, which is kind of scary because if they have, I'm pretty sure they have Ezquilagma in their hand. They could do some stuff. They could probably end me here because Ezquilagma has Rush and they can just swing, and it's just ugh. Okay, so they absorb the Ezquilagma from him. Interesting. So really, like, Hollow's playing really slow, but they don't really have much in their hand to do a lot of stuff. Which that might have been like a problem before. You're not playing the deck right if you don't have like a lot to do in your hand. But like now with like just that one extra like resource, like that's not the case. because their board is much better than mine's. Even though I have more like creatures, like just the fact that they have a big old 800 hitter is, yeah, that's a problem. They're attacking me. They attacked me with the one dude. I reduced it with Spell Blight, using its ability to summon it and then taking the other damage. And then with the egg, they're attacking me and I take that damage and I get a Shiba Cushion. I like Shiba Cushion. I like Shiba Cushion. Pretty cool. Best boil. I believe at this point I was just like, I'm not going to win this. I am frustrated. None of my removal is here. I have one removal in my hand, and that's not going to do anything. So I summon the Adri. I choose to absorb. What do I absorb? I kind of forgot. Okay, yeah, I choose to absorb those two because I wanted the big body with what's her name? With Ayane, which it's not Ayane. There are people that call it Ayane. It's not Ayane. It's Ayane. Um, so I have a Adri with 6 chain and just sitting there to remove. Yeah. At this point, I'm just like, man, man, I'm not winning this. So right here, I am reducing. I mean, I am releasing, which I don't know why I put that there. Oh yeah, so I'm releasing for Adri's effect. I sack one of my own creatures. So since I sacked a creature with her ability, my opponent has to sack a creature of their own. They're going to choose their egg because it searches, but yeah. Which is the smartest thing to do. If I had Watching from Heaven, I'd be able to sack that. My opponent wouldn't be able to do anything about it, which means she'd get plus 200, but I'm not trying to attack with her, or she couldn't even attack because I summoned her that turn. And basically just, yeah, I will say I lost this. I believe they reduced. Yeah, they reduced with Mama Cluck when I tried to attack with the puppet, and then now they have a whole bunch of. I think that's 8 resources. Yeah, that's 8. So yeah, they take the damage and they get a mango. No, what am I saying? They get a mellow melon. That's one of Hollow's favorite cards. She loves those melons. So now it's their turn. They absorbed from hand to their Mega Rex. I believe they're going to use it so that they can release 2, reduce 2, and I believe they summon Etzquilagma, which just seals the deal for me. Now all that deck thinning, and I didn't see a single removal card. I have 12 cards in deck. Like, come on now. Why are they all at the bottom? That's not fun. That is not bueno. So yeah, they get out the Etzquilagma. They kill my Ayane. This is probably the end for me. So I want to say thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this little commentary. I'm not good at commentary, but I hope you enjoyed it. And there's going to be a part 2. That one's a lot closer. And yeah, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Peace.